Today we are going to celebrate a momentous occasion, an occasion that people celebrate only once in their lifetime. That's right, people only turn 30 once in a lifetime, and I'm turning 30. And if I was living in the medieval ages or the dark ages, I would be nearing the end of my life. But since we are not in that age, I'm just getting started. So, when I wanted to celebrate that occasion, especially with you guys, I thought to myself, okay, what can I do? And what does someone do when they turn 30 and want to celebrate that momentous occasion, such a prestige occasion? They go out and do something out of the ordinary. Well, we are going to do that. And this is something out of the ordinary for me because I went out and bought my first liquor for myself. That's right. I've never actually bought any liquor for myself. And when I was going out, I had certain ideas in mind as to what should I do, but I was never really clear about it. And as you might know, that I have a box of Davidoff Signature No.2 cigars, and the brand suggests to pair the cigar, you try to pair it with coffee or some sort of creamy drink. Well, I didn't want to have coffee with that cigar, so I kept looking, and after some digging, I came across this whiskey. Now, let's talk about the whiskey, okay? So this is an Irish whiskey, single pot still, triple distilled, matured in sherry and bourbon, Spanish oak cask, seasoned. So obviously there's a bit of spice and fruitiness, of course, in the flavors. It is a very long nose, complex nose to it, a harmonious nose, that too, and a really long, complex finish. And this is something important when I was thinking about buying a whiskey, right? Because when you smoke a cigar and you take a sip of some drink, the drink has to leave some aftertaste. And if it leaves an aftertaste, which is basically a long, complex finish, what you're talking about, right? The next puff with that cigar blends and evolves with the flavor of the whiskey, the aftertaste, right? So you want something like that. This whiskey is 40% ABV, so very approachable, I would say. And it also actually won the 2019 International Whiskey Competition for the best Irish whiskey. So this is an Irish whiskey, 12 years aged, and we're going to basically open it up. I'm going to actually kind of unwrap this, and if I make any mistakes, we perhaps might just cut it off or do a fast forward, or maybe keep the thing in the bloopers. Okay, so we'll try it out because it's the first time I'm actually doing a proper opening of a bottle. Okay. So let's do that. And I'm going to open this and we're going to taste together, okay? Or I'm going to taste with you. And I would definitely like for you to join me in this process. But before we talk about the bottle, just let's look at the packaging, right? I love the packaging. It's a red breast, single pot still, Irish whiskey, aged 12 years, red breast. Now, red breast is a bird actually that existed. And I think I read that the founder was very inspired by the red breast bird that was kind of roaming around on his window. And so he decided to name his whiskey Redbreast. So that's a little bit of story behind it. But let's look at the bottle now. Again, a marvelous bottle to say the least. I think I really love it. It gives me that old Pirates of the Caribbean movie vibes with this the shape of this bottle, and I really love it. So let's try to kind of unwrap this. Let me just make a small incision so I can kind of open it up just a little bit. All the way. But anyway, we'll see. Hopefully I don't damage myself in this process. But let's try and open this. Okay. Cool. I'm not sure it's a proper decanter. It's just a bottle. Not like a proper decanter, but we'll see. Okay, yeah. And let me just open this up a little bit more. Okay. Oh. Oh, wow. I'm just nosing the cap. It kind of smells like a red wine. It's beautiful. Keep this knife away. Just being careful to be around with it. Okay. Now I have a clean glass here with no water residue on it because I didn't want any sort of flavors kind of affecting the whiskey. Um, so we're going to pour a small amount and let's see. Okay. I think that should do it. And what I'm going to do, because I'm not a regular drinker and I want to taste the whiskey, I'm going to just add a little bit of water to it. So just to kind of open up the aromatic profile and also keep it acceptable to my palate, because I'm not really experienced drinker here. So I'm going to just pour little drops of water. Yeah, I think this should be enough. But okay, let me just put this back in. There you go. Okay, cool. Let's try to first tease our noses a bit. As I say, this sweet nose, if I think about it, it kind of reminds me of red wine actually. And I think that's because of the bourbon and sherry casks. It's getting that. God. Okay. Cheers. Mm, mm. Oh, yeah. As it said, long, complex finish. And from what I've understood, right, in terms of how do you drink it, the first sip is not to experience too much of flavors, but rather to introduce your palate to the spirit, to the whiskey, and that's why you kind of a little bit let the spirit, let the sip roam around in your mouth, above the tongue, below the tongue, across your cheeks, everywhere. Kind of warm the palate, introduce your palate, introduce your taste buds to the whiskey, and I think it has an aftertaste. I love the aftertaste. Obviously, when it goes down, I don't really feel any kind of burning in the throat as well. Possibly because it's 40% ABV, so very approachable anyway. A little bit of warm as you might expect with alcohol in your stomach. But otherwise, very beautiful, I would say. And I'm going to go for the seconds and we'll finish the drink. But I think after the first is done, right, you kind of palate is introduced now to the whiskey. So the second sip is more about really experiencing the flavor. So I'm really looking forward to the second one. Mm, mm, mm. I can really imagine myself with a cigar and this whiskey because it's so smooth and it leaves a long aftertaste, which evolves because at start it starts with a little bit of spice, but as it goes on, I start feeling sweetness of it, and it's very funny because when you think about it, generally as a college student, what would someone might do? You take a whiskey and you're looking at shots, or you're looking at like just gulping it down, being a jockey. Only when you mature a little, you kind of understand, okay, you want to enjoy the spirit. You want to actually taste the notes, right? And I look back at the journey, what I would have done perhaps as an undergrad student or a master students, where you like move with the bros, right? And you kind of like, yeah, let's do it. And you're in the energy. And what would you do? You just like shots out there or some drink made and just gulp it down like a jockey. But actually sitting down, appreciating a spirit that actually took 12 years of aging to it, right? It's really remarkable, by the way. And again, warm on the palate, but very approachable. Starts with a little bit of spice, and I can feel the spice because I have a little bit of let's say cut in my lips, on my lips, and whenever the alcohol spirit touches there, right, it burns more than usual because of the spice to it. Let's say, okay, I can feel the spicy taste. Obviously, it's a cut, so it's going to hit a little, but you can feel the spice. But as it goes on, very smooth. And interestingly, for someone who has not even ever like dared to just sit and buy a whiskey for themselves and actually taste it, like not like a jockey, but actually taste it, I'm kind of enjoying myself right now. So cheers again, and thank you very much for joining, by the way, helping me celebrate this momentous occasion. Medieval ages and the dark age people didn't really make this far. So I think it's a remarkable feat in itself and what you have been able to accomplish, and we're just getting started here, right? So cheers. Mm. You can see me gargling with it. And I'm trying to introduce as much possible to everywhere in my mouth. I'm trying to move the spirit. So good. So thank you very much for joining and helping me celebrate. If you want to know more details, you can find it on the website. I'm not really a seller here. I just found something that will go with my cigar, and I think I'm not disappointed. I like this drink. So cheers, everyone. It's red breast, 12-year-old single malt triple distilled whiskey. It won the 2019 international whiskey competition for the best Irish whiskey. So you can always find it online. And cheers to you guys. Thank you for being part of this journey. Take care.